But those who differ and say no, Ya'juj and Ma'juj will not be released until after the return of Nabi Isa alayhi salam, we say to them, brother, keep waiting. If we recognize this world order to be the world order of Ya'juj and Ma'juj, then so long as they control the world, you cannot restore the Khilafah. They will destroy it.
The answer is located in the events which we now describe in greater detail than we could do last night. We spoke yesterday about Dajjal, that he has to deceive the Jews into believing that he is the true Messiah when in fact he is a false Messiah. So he has to impersonate the Messiah. Let me do this very rapidly for you now. Since the true Messiah has to rule the world from Jerusalem, the false Messiah has to do the same thing. In order for him to rule the world from Jerusalem, the false Messiah will, number one, have to liberate the Holy Land. That was done in 1919. Already accomplished. Number two, the false Messiah will have to bring the Jews back to the Holy Land. That has already been accomplished. Gog and Magog did that between 1919 and 1948. Number three, the false Messiah will have to establish a state of Israel in the Holy Land and get the Jews to be convinced that this is the Israel of David and of Solomon. May Allah's blessing be upon them both. This has already been accomplished in 1948. The false Messiah will have to get that state of Israel to become the ruling state of the world, and that's why you had September the 11th. September the 11th was meant to be the catalyst which will deliver to Israel the status as the ruling state of the world. The one thing that went wrong on September the 11th for them was that George Bush was not killed. Yes, because life and death is not in the hands of the Israeli Mossad. Life and death is in the hands of the God of Abraham. And so Mr. Bush is still alive. But September the 11th was meant to be the catalyst which will eventually deliver to Israel the status of the ruling state of the world. In order for Israel to become the ruling state in the world, Israel has to wage a big war, which will deliver to Israel the boundaries, the territory which is mentioned in the Torah, that the Holy Land extends from the river of Egypt to the river Euphrates. And so Israel has to take over Iraq. If Israel has to take over Iraq, you've got to first do what you did in 1980, destroy the Iraqi nuclear power. Number two, you have to do what you did in 1990, the Gulf War, which destroys Iraq's military power. You have to do what you did between 1990 and now. You impose UN Security Council economic sanctions on Iraq so that Iraq is crippled and sent back to the old Stone Age. And you have to do what Mr. Bush wants to do now. He's coming back in the next few months. Deliver the last blow to Iraq so that Iraq will not be able to resist Israel when Israel launches her big attack. And then the territory of the state of Israel dramatically expands. I don't have the time, but there's so much more I could have spoken on this subject. A Muslim response to the attack on America, but we don't have the time. When Israel launches that attack and the territory of the state expands dramatically, then Israel can export the Palestinian population out very easily. At the same time that this is happening, the US economy will collapse. The US dollar will collapse. We already see the signs. If we have the time, sometime I'll deliver a lecture on Islam and the international monetary system. And this will explain to you why paper money is going to disappear. And when paper money disappears, what's going to be money? Huh? Plastic. Plastic. No, this is not a credit card, It's a debit card. Plastic will be money. And when all your money is in the bank, there is no money to carry home and say to your wife, put it away. No, because all the money is in the bank. Then they can seize your money anytime they want. Do you know what happened in Argentina 2 weeks ago? While the scholars of Islam were eating halwa, the government of Argentina froze all bank accounts. So some people didn't have money to even buy roti canai. Can't even buy titarik. No money. Governments can do that. They can freeze all your money. They can say such and such a person is a terrorist. No evidence, of course, but he's a terrorist. Freeze his account. Seize his money. You don't have any money in your pockets. The reason why we are here with this perilous state now before us is because we abandoned Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. He gave us real money, and we abandoned the real money, and we took the paper money, and we paid the price for it. When the US economy collapses, and the US dollar collapses, and the state of Israel expands dramatically, and the state of Israel defies the President of the United States who says withdraw. Israel does not withdraw. So the President says a second time, withdraw. Israel does not withdraw. The President says, would you please withdraw? Israel does not withdraw. The President, I understand why Israel is not withdrawing. And then Israel is able to defy the Security Council of the United Nations, which adopts a resolution. We want to send a fact-finding mission to Jenin. Israel says, no, you're not going to do that. What does the Security Council do? Back down. Israel now becomes the ruling state in the world, because no one can impose their will on the state of Israel. When Dajjal achieves that, and that is around the corner, of course the foreign ministries are all going to be surprised, and the universities are all going to be surprised. But you and I who studied Surah Al Kahf, we will not be surprised. No. When Israel becomes the ruling state in the world, then Israel will rule the world for how long? A day which is as long as a week. How long will that be? Maybe 20 years, 30 years, I don't know. At the end of that period of time, then Dajjal will now be in a day which is like our day. And therefore he will be in our dimension of time, which is around the corner, maybe about 40 years, 50 years from now. At that time the water in the Sea of Galilee will have dried up. How long will it take for that water to dry up? That's how long it will take for Dajjal to appear as a human being, as a Jew, as a young man, powerfully built with curly hair. Notice I'm saying nothing about his eyes. That will come in the lecture on Islamic spirituality, which is at Loram K. Islamic spirituality. Dajjal will now rule the world from Jerusalem. He has fulfilled his mission of impersonating the Messiah. So he can rub his hands, it's a mission accomplished. It is at that time that the Imam al-Mahdi will emerge, as we spoke about last night. And then Dajjal will attack the Imam. Because the Imam has succeeded in restoring Darul Islam to the Arabian Peninsula. The state of Saudi Arabia is now in the garbage bin from where it came in the first place. And Islam has re-emerged in its cradle. Darul Islam in Arabia. This is the greatest and the most potent threat of all to the state of Israel. And that's coming. That's coming. And so Dajjal has to respond. He has to attack the Imam al-Mahdi. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, he pointed his hand 20 times to the east. He said it's from the east that he will attack. And yesterday we told you how he will attack. He will be riding on a donkey. The donkey will have his ears stretched out wide. The donkey will travel as fast as the clouds. And I told you I visited Hong Kong last week on that donkey. And so we're talking about fighter aircraft. The state of Israel is going to be attacking using fighter aircraft, but will be attacking from the east. So it is Dahran we're talking about. What used to be the Saudi Air Force Base in Dahran, and now it's the American Air Force Base in Dahran. The attack comes from the east. The angels will guard Makkah and Medina.